Hey guys, it's Action of Violence here. We'll get right into it. So we got Cage Warriors on deck. Let me start off with this card is Irish heavy, so that means don't be too crazy with the parlays. You know, they've known to let me down in the past, so I'm not gonna. Oh, I wonder what that was. I think it was like a fly or something. But yeah, James. I'm not gonna start at the top. Let's go. We got Jamie Bissett versus Paweł Jazarski. Now, I watched both these guys, and honestly, I wasn't too impressed by either of them. But the one thing I had to say about Bissett is this guy, he's very mid. He has a losing amateur record. Like, there's not much I can say positive about him. That he's decent. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he's gonna pose some threats, but like, honestly, like, I don't really know what to think about him. Like, he just hasn't looked very good in his career. He's coming off 3 losses. He hasn't won a fight since 2022. I'm gonna go with Paweł Jazarski here as the underdog. I think he should be the favorite. He's a grappler, a bit of a wild card because there's not a lot of film on him, but he looks better. You know, looks better on the ground from what the tapes tells me. He's had some decent experience. He looks better, but not by much. So, not much great I could say about this fight. It's pass spot for me personally. But yeah, I think Jazarski is his side, and I think he wins this one. Moving on. Sinede Nowlin versus Jennifer Trio. This is a setup spot. Sinede Nowlin is supposed to get this win. She's just gonna push the pace, push against the fence, knee to the thigh. Like, it's not gonna be a very exciting win, but she's gonna get the win. I see her winning by unanimous decision, maybe TKO, but I doubt it. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Sinade here. I think she wins quite easily, but negative 500 for her against even anyone with oxygen running through them. I can't. I just don't think she's worth negative 500, so pass for me. But she probably wins. Moving on, we have Matthew Elliott taking on Valentino Riva. Again, like, the odds are pretty wide. Like, I think Matthew Elliott wins, but negative 1,000 is just ridiculous. Like, I wouldn't touch that at all. Personally, I don't have it lined like that, and honestly, I don't really think it's a good spot because there's, in my opinion, there's a lot better opportunity in the later card. Like Paul Hughes, there's a lot better spots than him. I just don't think he's worth the chalk. Yeah, man, his wrestling's decently heavy hands. But he's a bit of a crotch sniffer, so it's like, I don't know how the judges are going to look at that. But his opponent, luckily, is a bum, and his chin's really high. So I think that's why he has such a high price tag. I mean, he probably wins, but I wouldn't pay negative 1,000 on this. But you never know. I might just parlay all the gimme matchups just to see what happens. I don't know though. We'll see. Dar Ward versus Ben Patches Kelly. Honestly, with this one, I think the company wants Dar to win. I feel like he's the more talented out of the two. He's mid. But he has a decent finishing ability, which I think can be very dangerous for someone like Ben, who's very mid. Chinny. And honestly, I just don't think he's very good. He got submitted by Rafael Aronov. Like, I definitely think Daryl Ward by submission is live. Definitely wouldn't mind that at all if the props came out. But honestly, I don't really want anything to do with this fight, so big pass for me. Moving on, we have Sierra and Brady versus Thomas Zadowski. So, with this fight, we got two guys who not a lot of film on these guys, but the one I've seen is, Brady's faced a lot of bums. He's supposed to be the A side. He's a bit of a wild card. Like, you don't know what to expect from him. And then you have his opponent, who's a kickboxer, who's very pedestrian. Doesn't do anything really amazing. So it's like you have the obvious side in Brady, who should win, but there's no guarantees with this one. So I'm gonna go with Brady here, just because of the fact this guy doesn't have grappling, who he's fighting. So I'm gonna go with Brady here, but I'm not confident. I feel like the odds are kind of getting a little bit ridiculous. -350. I think he should be -250 at highest. But yeah, I'm on Sierra and Brady here. I think he's gonna win. Moving on. We have Imar Darcy versus Jenny Lynn. I'm not going to waste your time. Easy win for Jenny Lynn here. No, I'm just joking. But for real, Imar Darcy is going to just run through her. It's quite easily the most lopsided matchup since yesterday. So Dakota Ditcheva versus Lisa Muldoon. But even then, Lisa has grappling. This girl has nothing. So Imar Darcy is going to win this quite easily. Moving on, Ryan Shelley taking on Callum Parker. Now, a lot of people are on Ryan Shelley, and I get it. It's his home. He's fighting in Ireland, but Shelley's too comfortable off his back. He doesn't have a lot of urgency. He's not very dangerous, other than maybe his submissions. I gotta go with Ryan Shelley to get the win, but I like the odds on Parker, man. I know his record isn't pretty, but I think the last guy he fought is a lot more aggressive and a lot more dangerous than Ryan Shelley, and he put up a decent fight against him, won a round. So I'm gonna go with Ryan Shelley here, but I like a dog spot here in Callum Parker. I would not be shocked to see him win this fight. Moving on, Scott Harvey versus Enrique DeGangi. Okay, so this one's interesting. Honestly, with this fight, I don't really know Scott Harvey too well. I know he's pretty mid. He has some, decent skills. He's supposed to be the A side. He's the hometown guy. But honestly, I don't know what to think about him, man. Like, he didn't look that great. He hasn't fought really anybody good. And this is by far his most skilled opponent to date. Yeah, I think Enrico has a nice solid skill set, like solid grappling. I think he can even find a submission. I'm gonna go with DeGangi by decision, but honestly, this is more a mystery spot on Harvey. I don't know what to expect from him, so just gonna blindly pick Enrique here, but I'm not confident. Enrico. Moving on. Solomon Simon versus Leon McKenzie. Now this is a good one. McKenzie's a good grappler, decent experience on him, but I just think Simon is just that next level, and I think he's going to be a lot more skilled on the feet and good grappling defense. And you need to be a really good grappler to beat him, and I just don't think he is that good. So I'm going to go with Simon to win this by KO or unanimous decision. But this could get dicey, so I'm prepared for both. But yeah, I just think Simon's level is above this guy. We'll see what happens. Moving on, we have Taka Mandu versus Rory Evans. Rory Evans brings a really heavy wrestling game, tries to hold on, get control time, maybe get a submission, rear naked choke. But for the most part, man, he's pretty mid, and if Taka can't beat him, then he's mid too. I think Taka has the skill set to win this fight because on the feet he's pretty nasty with it. And then his movement's decent. Takedown defense is okay, but once he's on the ground, he's a bit of a fish out of water. So I worry about that. But other than that, I think Taka should walk through him. It feels like a little bit of a gift line at negative 150, but it's just when you see how bad Taka's grappling is, you can understand why the odds are the way they are. But I'm going to go with Taka here. I just feel like the company wants him to win, and it's a matchup he should win. Moving on, we have Decky McLachlan versus Billy Mannequin. So McLachlan has decent grappling, pulls off some nice arm bars, but and he is the A side, but he's just too content off his back, and I do think Billy, is going to stay on top and solid position to win a unanimous decision or split decision. I just don't like how not urgent Decky is off his back. He likes to go for subs and all, but when that doesn't work, he's just content off his back. So I just think Billy's going to be able to push the pace with the grappling and win a decision here. Definitely not a fight I'm too interested in the bet on, though. Moving on, we have Jer Harris versus Gregory Warrington. So Jer Harris, he's a very experienced IMMAF fighter. Good grappling, pretty good striking. He's pretty well rounded. The next gen, I would like to refer to him as. And he's facing a pure jiu-jitsu guy who has decent power and explosivity, but he's not very good. He pulls guard, and other than jiu-jitsu, he's nothing special. So I don't think Jer Harris is going to get submitted, and if he does, then credit to Gregory. But I'm going to go with Jer Harris to win this by TKO or unanimous decision. I just feel like he's going to be able to dictate where the fight goes, and I feel like he'll have the grappling to negate Gregory's. So definitely won't like it if it hits the mat, but I feel like Jer can keep it on the feet with his takedown defense. But yeah, moving on, we have Paul Hughes versus Fabiano Silva. Probably my lock of the card. Paul Hughes, he's just so freaking talented, so good, so dangerous. Honestly, I just see him picking Fabiano Silva apart, getting another KO finish. I just feel like he's levels above this guy. Obviously, this guy has some experience on him, but I just feel like Paul Hughes is way more dangerous, and he's been in training camp. This guy hasn't, so Paul Hughes for the win. Probably my lock of the card. Moving on to the main event, we have Daniel Conrad taking on James Sheehan. So I really like Conrad, man. I think he's a really dangerous counter striker, good grappler. Could potentially even get a finish here. James Sheehan is very, very hittable. His chin's up right up in the air, but he's also very good himself. He can be dangerous on the feet. He rips the body. Definitely going to be a competitive matchup. I would line in a pick'ems. I don't agree with how the odds are shaped now. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Daniel Conrad pulling an upset. But this is a low confidence pick. I don't think he'll I don't think this is gonna be one of my higher percentage plays. But I do think Conrad wins this fight. So, anyways, guys, I'll give you guys my top 5 picks, and we'll get out of here. So we got our number 1 pick. I would have to say, Darcy. Number 2, I would have to say now Nolan. Number 3, Simon. Number 4, So 1, Darcy. 2, Hughes. 3, Nolan. 4, Simon. 5, this is a tricky number 5. I'll go Jer Harris, number 5. Alrighty, guys. Like, subscribe. You know the drill. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.